good, people. How are you tonight? I hope you're excited and ready to learn. So today is an exciting day for us. Allow me to just recognize the people who've made this happen. You all know that we have been in partnership with, hi Donna, how are you? Yes, high five to you as well. Oh yeah, let me just say hi to my people first before we go on to checking out who are our partners. Yes, Peter, how are you? Sheba, good evening. Frank, hi. Mutuko, Daniel, good evening to you. Catherine, good evening. Dennis, how are you? It's nice to see you, early risers. Sandra, good morning. Good evening. Oh my God. Zavex, good morning. Zaverio, how are you? Dennis Irongo, yes. Helen Ruto, good evening. Thank you very much for being here. So allow me to just do a brief introduction. This is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. It's a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in entrepreneurship and employment. We do this every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Zoom. We also go live on Facebook, and I'll be sharing the link shortly. My name is Grace Nzula. I am a HR consultant and trainer with Atara Solutions, a HR consulting and training firm. We seek to inform and change the world through sharing information, equipping people with the right knowledge and skills that they need to excel in business and in entrepreneurship. We do this in partnership with Balcon Housing. Balcon Housing is a real estate and property management company. They are giving an offer to the people who tune in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. You guys have a chance to own a plot in Nanyuki at Kenya shillings, 400,000 shillings. You can also get tailor-made installments for you. So please get in touch with Balcon Housing. They have been our partners for season 2. We did season 1. Season 1, we did 26 episodes. Season 2, we will do about 30-something or 40-something episodes. So in total, we have a lot of content, a lot of valuable free content on our YouTube channel where we log in everything, which is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Please like and subscribe. So other than Balcon Housing, we were celebrating our 1-year anniversary in June, and therefore we had giveaways for our people. We have Balcon Housing, who also gave, besides being our partners for season 2, they also have given quite a number of giveaways to our audience. Stallion Construction Company, we have Current Technology, Intercity Secure Homes. If you're looking for people who to provide you with total security solutions, please get in touch with Intercity Secure Homes. We have Octagon Africa. Octagon Africa is a pension and insurance management company. If you're looking to get your pension administrators, if you're looking for insurance solutions, if you're looking for financial management and planning solutions, get in touch with Octagon Africa. We also have Pathway Solutions Services. You all know Mr. Frank, he's been a speaker with us. Pathway Solutions Services is a HR training and it's a training company. Actually, they have had an offer for the last 3 months for you guys. He has a training tomorrow scheduled for 11 a.m. to about 1, and then another one at, I'll check in the evening. We will let you know, and you guys are welcome to join in. We'll share the link on the chat. Frank, if you can share the link for tomorrow's trainings on the chat so that people can log in. We have GeoTrace. GeoTrace is a vehicle fleet and management services. We have Shishi Naturals and JC Beauty, who are into natural hair and beauty products. We have Sorel Laundry. Sorel Laundry is a laundry company, laundromat based in Ruaka. They do same-day delivery. We have the Career Management Center. They do coaching. If you're looking for somebody to walk the journey with you, whether you're job seeking, whether you're looking to do better, we have the Career Management Center. We have Favored Cakes and Caterers, who gave out a cake. And then we have Mintito, Kapula Mintito, who already gave their giveaway to one of you. So allow me to let you know that today we are hosting a man who needs no introduction. I've seen Martin. I'm excited to see my good friend Fred Johnston. Yes, Johnson is here tonight. So I hope you guys are ready to learn. Does it take more than talent, or is it all about talent? I mean, just because I'm talented, does it mean I'm growing my career? So Johnson Mwakazi, take it away.
Wow, it's a great honor to be here. Grace, many thanks. And for all those tuned in, I really want to take this opportunity to celebrate you. Many thanks. And wow, I just heard of Bwana Martin Macholi was actually my lecturer. I believe he's the one. Thank you, Mwalimu, so much. He taught me even the aspects of the voice. So thank you so much. I celebrate you, Mwalimu. Grace, many thanks. Grace has really been so resourceful in my career. She gave me business once, not twice, thrice actually. So Grace, many thanks. I celebrate you, and you're doing such a wonderful job. Career talk. I mean, your career growth, is it just about the talent that you have? Well, I look at talent from a very general perspective. I don't think talent is just about having a good voice, or you're a singer, or you can understand IT, or whatever it is that you do. I look at talent as the very idea that you are alive. I believe the very fact that you're alive, there is something that you have. And some people have discovered, other people are still discovering. But I think appreciating the fact that you're alive at this particular moment is so important. It is so important. They say a dog that is alive is better than a lion that is dead. So regardless of the challenges that you may be having at the moment, the idea is that as long as you are still alive, you can actually reinvent yourself. But then now we go back to that place where we're saying, is it enough to be alive? Is it enough to have that talent that other people have already pointed at? It actually takes more than talent. It actually takes more than talent. And the reason why I would really transfix the idea of talent to you being alive is that, you know, your life and mine is, what can we call it? We are here, you're giving a speech, you never know what's going to happen. And so you don't want life to ooze out of your body without even you making sure that you've actually given all that you can. And this life can ooze out any time. This gentleman is just giving a speech and he doesn't know that it was actually going to be his last. He's giving his maybe a word of wisdom, and all of a sudden life oozes out of his body. And it doesn't matter your age or your role in society, your title. He's giving probably a political speech, and all of a sudden he doesn't realize that that was actually going to be his last. She is a journalist, she's doing her work, and all of a sudden on national television, life oozes out of her body and she actually falls down to the ground. And at least for this priest, he had the opportunity to say, "Thank you, God," as his final words. And so personally, when I look at talent, I look at it as the place where I'm saying, I am aware that I am here at this particular moment. So it must matter. And one of my mentors told me, "Johnson, we all know one day we will not be here. But at least if we finally leave the earth and we meet God, and God probably introduces us to the person he wanted us to become, will we be twins with that person, or will we be worlds apart?" Where he says, "Johnson, I created you to be this." Will I say, we are actually twins because I exhausted every bit of whatever he gave me, whatever he put me. If it's my voice, I'm constantly working on it so that at the end of it all, I'm actually dying empty. And personally, I feel it takes a lot. It's not just enough for you to be alive. It's not just enough for you to be a talent. You have to start working. You have to start working. And when I look at my personal life, born and raised in Kibra, so many people know this story. My mother working as a cleaner in town, earning about 3,000 shillings every month, living in a muddy house. And only one single poem I wrote took me to Switzerland. And I went to Australia, went to Papua New Guinea, and saw the world simply because of a talent, a poem that I wrote and I recited. And, the rest, the gifts that people gave me, the opportunities that opened up for me, it's indeed a great honor. But behind that, I can tell you, it took a lot of work. And that's my first point. There has to be that place where you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I must work. And it starts now. From a voice that I started working on, I've gotten opportunities, whether it's as a moderator or a trainer, and the many other opportunities that have come through. It has been because of the work that I had to put in. And one of my mentors tells me, you must be obsessed with this one thing that you call your talent or your goal, because your obsessions ultimately become your possessions. If you do not obsess yourself with one thing that is good for you, that you feel you've been called to do, the things of life, the worries of life will actually take your attention away. So you must set your goal straight from the beginning. And that work, I liken it to being a soldier. When you realize you are here at such a time as this, as a special gift, what Ogmandino in his book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, calls, you are nature's greatest miracle. You are nature's greatest miracle. When you realize that, then you take every moment of yourself as so important. So you cannot look at yourself as a civilian when others are talking about, and of course, there are so many reasons for us to give excuses. And there was a time I had an excuse. I would say, well, there's COVID, so I'm not going out there. I don't have to read a book. People are not working, so I can just stay at home. No, that can be an excuse not to work on your talent. You've got to look at yourself as a soldier. Look at a soldier. They know anytime, there could be terrorists in the country. So they have to keep themselves active all the time. And that is your responsibility and mine. And I'm sure most of you are doing whatever they can, especially when you now know it's not just about yourself. Maybe you have children. Maybe you have responsibilities. You have rent to pay or a mortgage, or you want to look beyond yourself and you're looking at Kenya and Africa. That will take a different kind of lifestyle, where you're saying, when other people are doing this, I choose to work on myself. I still have to work on my voice. The opportunities that God has given me, whether as a voiceover artist, whether as a speaker, I must constantly work on myself. As a matter of fact, I have a list of people I watch via YouTube. Anytime I find somebody interesting, I pick their names, and anytime I go on YouTube, that's what I want to watch. That's what I want to develop. That work has to be very consistent. And something else that also comes to mind is, for a very long time, I am not a fan of dogs. I've had a bad experience with dogs. Living in Kibra, I've had moments where dogs chased us, and any bark from a dog would cause me to literally freeze. Then my little son, our son says, Papa, I want a dog. And I'm thinking, okay, that's a good request. And he really insists on it. And finally, he gets one of his uncles to get him a dog. And it was January 2020. and we weren't very sure about, bringing the dog over. So we had to wait. So we waited for some time, and finally the uncle found his way to come to our place. And we were all excited, except me, of course. I was wondering, okay, how are we going to deal with the dog? And in my mind, I'm picturing a puppy, because by the time we were talking, it was still a puppy. Then all of a sudden, his vehicle comes in and we're waiting. And oh my goodness, this beast jumps out of the car. And you can imagine all the bad memories I've ever had of dogs came flooding in my mind. I can tell you, my son was all excited, but I wasn't. I knew we're this is it for us. This is it. If this dog just changes its mind, I don't know. We're done, because it was a German Shepherd. And then after a while, the uncle says, well, I've brought the puppy. Now I'm about to leave. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. You can't leave us with this beast. But I can tell you, I had to rise above my fear. I was literally scared. I started studying about dogs, how to feed that dog, how to train it. And I just wanted to show you, Hector was his name. So with time, I got used to it.
Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Sit. Down. Stay. Good boy. Stay.
I mean, you can imagine, from a very rowdy dog, and he was able to sit still. Anytime I could tell it stay, Hector would actually stay. And that's how we engaged. But it took a lot of work. I had to study, I had to read, and then do it day in, day out with such consistency. And to see an animal such as that just be obedient was really a breakthrough for me. And I said, you know what, if a dog can do that, I can actually do something with myself and achieve a lot. So the work has to be there. And it's not a one day in the gym and then you expect, because I was trained by the master of trainers, one day I will make it. No. Some of the simplest things done, when done consistently, bear a great deal of harvest. So you must identify those simple things that you can start with, that can help you develop yourself. Come up with a ritual every morning where you say, you know, every morning the very first 3 things. Don't make them 7 or 10. You can even say, every morning when I wake up, possibly I pray or I drink water. Or for somebody who is into developing their voices, I normally say, try humming when you wake up in the morning. Start humming. And if you can, just find about 10 minutes and read a book aloud every single day. Start 5 minutes or 10 minutes. John C. Maxwell talks about the art of chopping down a tree. You don't get your axe and say, you know what, I'm planning for this wonderful set day that I'm going to cut down the tree. No, you just decide today I'm going to pick my axe and hack it only 10 times, just 10 times. And then I'm going to put down my axe. But then tomorrow again, I'm going to come and I'm going to do the same thing. So the work has to be put in. And one experience I've had, and this is really kudos to the government, during COVID, when things were silent, no businesses out there, I just bumped into Ajira and I thought, well, Ajira, what's this all about? Well, government stuff. So I decided to join in, and oh my goodness, I was absolutely amazed by the kind of skills they taught us. And by the way, even up to now, I'm utilizing some of the skills that we learned. And so You must be a student. Always take the position of a learner. Always take the position of a learner where you're constantly asking questions. Continuous learning is the mantra these days. You cannot afford to say, well, I know it all. And by the way, even this morning, I was walking with this young man and I asked him, and I love to ask people this question, what is it that you're learning? What is it that you're learning? Because it gives people an opportunity to quickly fish whatever wisdom they have, and you will be amazed. So this young gentleman, probably in his early 20s, he tells me, they say jack of all trades is, the saying, jack of all trades, master of none. But, with COVID, I've known, well, jack of all trades is not better than the master of none, but he's always better than the master of just one. So at least if I am a jack of all trades during the season, if one thing fails, I can always learn to do another thing, and I can do another thing, and I can do another thing. And I went like, wow, this is a young man in his early 20s, and he's already learning, he's already teaching me, he's already giving me wisdom. So if any person you meet from today, just try it. As you're having your conversations, your icebreakers, just ask them, what is it that you're learning? And you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at what people are learning that you can now begin to develop. Because of time, I'll move on to my second point. So from work, you come into the place of your network. So you're working on yourself to be better. And I know you know a lot about networking, so I'm just going to talk about it from my own perspective. There are certain things that I learned from my mentor. He told me, Johnson, there are certain things that seem so good, but they can hinder you from having efficient and effective networks. Think about it. Number one, we all want to look good. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I walk to a party and all I'm thinking about is, am I looking good? I'm missing out the opportunities out there. The second thing, I want to be liked. We all want to be liked. But if that is all that will occupy my mind when I walk into a meeting and I'm thinking, I want to be liked, I'm missing a lot from the lessons that I can gather from the people in that meeting. The third, I want to be right. So you're constantly thinking, before I share this point, I really have to be right. I must be right. You're missing out. And finally, I want to fix it. We all want to be the person when people share their problems, we're fixing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's all that you want to do, when somebody tells you, oh, I lost my job, then you tell them, you lost your job last year. I actually lost mine 10 years ago. And by the way, I'm not even able to, you're constantly not listening to the needs of others. And there's a story to that effect. That networking is about feeding the other person, serving them, adding value to them, even when they cannot do that. So you're walking into that meeting and you're thinking, how can I be of help? How can I be of help? And I want you to picture these people who are eating food. And this is a story that I've shared in many occasions. So they're eating food, but the challenge is they have long spoons. So at first they're really trying, they're struggling to serve themselves. So they're really struggling to serve themselves. So they can reach the plate, but they can't bring the spoon closer to their mouths. So slowly by slowly they start fighting. They're getting jealous of each other. And then all of a sudden, the worst begins to happen. But in the midst of that, one of them realizes, by the way, if I use my long spoon to serve the other person, to feed the other person, then in turn, the other person can feed me and others can feed me. And together we can create the world that we all long for. a world that nurtures and protects the well-being of the individual, the family, communities, and the nation. And for me, that is really the essence of networking. And I really celebrate an organization. It's really an amazing one. I was part of it, called BNI, Business Network International. And their sole purpose was to give business to each other. The winners, the people who had the greatest accolades, were those who gave others more business. And so if you think of yourself as the person coming into the meeting room and really focusing on impacting the lives of those around you, regardless of whether they will impact you back, guess what? You are creating such a formidable force that will not only sustain you for that particular moment, but even in the future when things become too hard, you are able to actually stand. And I close on that point by this video as well that I love playing, because it reminds us of the spirit, the Kenyan spirit. And maybe you'll allow me to bring to your attention and really those who coined the words of our preamble, the Constitution. It's a poetic piece, but it's also loaded. In fact, my recommendation normally is, if you haven't read the entire Constitution, at least read the preamble. We, the people of Kenya, acknowledging the supremacy of the Almighty God of all creation, honoring those who heroically struggled to bring freedom and justice to our land, proud of our ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity, and determined to live in peace and unity as one sovereign nation. And then it says, respectful of the environment, which is our heritage, and determined to sustain it for the benefit of future generations. And this is the part that I love. It says, committed to nurturing and protecting the well-being of the individual, the family, communities, and the nation. If all of us just captured that, even as we're going for the elections, I have to talk about this because of all the investments we have. We really need a peaceful country. So it will take that sense of, networking, where we're saying, hey, wait a minute, I own a piece of Kenya, so I cannot afford to allow it to go down. And this is the story that I love playing in some of the events that I attend. And it's the story of our Kenyan athletes. But before that, just to give you the past of races, the Ethiopian passes our Kenyan brother and boom, that's what happened. But I'm sure you watched his story. Haile Selassie is doing very well. Sometimes it's not about running. Sometimes you have to fly. That's just life. You have to fly sometimes. It's not enough to run. And Sumgong, she fell down and she could have given up. She fell down, she could have given up. But at the back of my mind, I'm thinking maybe she thought of the many hours she put in practicing and exercising. And guess what? She won that race, actually. She won that race. So we celebrate her. But this is the reason why I played this video. You have our Kenyan athlete close to the finish line, and he's not making it. Maybe some are laughing, but he's really trying. Others are passing him because, they want to be winners. They want to win. They want to be the top. They want to win the accolades. But look at his brother, Cheprot. Cheprot comes in and decides, I'm not going to finish the race. I'm going to pick my brother up. I'm going to pick my brother up. We're going to finish first. And it's interesting, he was awarded for that. Just saying, what, sometimes it's not really about being number one, being the best, being the most recognized. It's really about carrying other people. And when you do that, wow, you make a tremendous impact. And I believe it's not just an impact that will be felt now, but even for years. And I think about somebody like Tom Mboya, for instance, the late Tom Mboya. He came up with this brilliant idea of taking Kenyans to the US to study. And according to the reports, 60% of those who studied in the US are the ones who actually came to govern Kenya when Kenya was really doing well. And you can imagine the results are still being felt today because one person who used his life to create an opportunity for others. He didn't see the beauty of the country. We're still working on it, but we can still remember what he did. And I can see it's 33 minutes past the hour. So I'll move in to my final point, and hopefully you have questions so that we can have a one-on-one session. My third point is really in regards to, yes, you are working on yourself. Yes, you have that network where you're looking at the people who are investing. So many people have invested in my life. My lecturer, Mr. Martin, thank you so much. You've invested in my life. The time we had at Daystar University, I mean, you spoke into my life, and I celebrate that. You've seen my mother supported me in a big way, my teachers, my employers, Grace. So every time when I look at myself, I look at myself and I realize, wait a minute, I'm a product of so many people. So I can't give up. I can't give up, not now, never. Because so many people have invested in my life. And if there's anything I can do is just to develop a happy me, that's what my family wants. I may not do everything that they want or expect from me, but at least I can just be happy for them. And that's where I'm talking about that sense of net worth. And yes, the money is important. Get the money. I mean, Kenya, as a country, we need the money. Schools are going to be opened next week. You need to get the money. If you have children to take to school, you need the money. For those who are getting closer to retirement, you need the money. We need the money to pay for whatever it is. But also, it's important to recognize the net worth that is contained in having a reputation. And I know somebody can say, you can't eat your reputation. Well, I remember at one particular meeting I had, and one of my bosses told me, Johnson, listen, it's not that you are the only person who has a good voice. There's so many people who have great voices. And, I didn't take it badly. I accepted it because that's the truth. But then she told me, Johnson, the reason why we choose to work with you is because we know you, is because we can trust you. And friends, if you can hold on to that, I will tell you, there was a time when we started a media station, I was desperately looking for a good news anchor. And I bumped onto one. This gentleman came into my office, and he was an amazing political analyst in terms of a reporter. And I was so excited, and I was saying, you know what, I'm going to give him that position. But then I decided to consult with one of my directors, and my director told me, don't touch him. He cannot be trusted. He's drunk. He can't keep his word. He can't keep time. He'll just mess you up. And you know what? I had to go back to that talented man and tell him, you know what? We can't bring you in. We can't bring you on board just because of trust. A good name is better than that silver. Because I have experienced, you can get a deal that will pay you a lot for 3 years. And those 3 years look big, long. And you feel, you know what, I'm getting all the money. But after 3 years, if you're told there's going to be drought, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that? It's better you be fed by ravens, little by little. But people can say, you know what, that's a man of honor. That's a woman of consequence. We can trust them. We can walk with them. And I finish with probably 3 videos. One is I hope you will stand this. It's one of those I picked from the Moment of Truth, where you sit on this seat that is able to capture your reactions, and then you're asked very personal questions, and you have to be honest. You have to be honest. And if you lie, it can pick, your movements and say no or yes, you're right. And this lady took the opportunity, sat on that seat. The parents were there. The husband was there. The family members were there. and they were all listening to her responses. And I really want you to, for once, just imagine you are that lady seated on that seat, and you're being asked some of the difficult personal questions about your life. How would you respond?
This episode was so controversial, it sparked a long debate as to whether or not to air it at all. It is the most uncomfortable I've ever been on television.
Lauren Cleary is a 26-year-old hair salon assistant.
Lauren's husband. Father.
Mother. Sister.
Brother.
As an employee of a hair salon, have you ever told a customer you liked their hairstyle when in fact you didn't?
I have never.
True.
Have you ever derived pleasure when one of your siblings has gotten into trouble?
Yes, I have.
True.
Have you ever been fired from a job for stealing money?
Yes.
True.
Your husband is a police officer. If you knew you wouldn't get caught, would you steal money from your place of employment?
No, I would not.
True.
Since you've been married, have you ever pretended to be asleep in order to avoid having sex with your husband, Frank?
Clear answer.
Pretended to be asleep, pretended to have a headache, so yes.
True.
Do you blame your husband for your lack of close friends?
Yes, I do.
True.
Do you secretly stay in touch with any boyfriends that your husband does not know about?
No.
True.
Have you ever taken off your wedding ring to appear as if you were single?
Yes, I have.
True.
It's in place now.
Do you believe you might have been in love with a former boyfriend on your wedding day?
Yes, I believe I was.
True.
Surprise guest,
Oh my.
this is your ex-boyfriend, Frank. Mind you,
If I wanted to get back together with you, would you leave your husband?
you could avoid this right now by hitting the button, Frank. No?
I don't think anyone would want to hear that answer.
Do you believe I'm the man you should be married to?
I'd say yes.
True.
There's really nothing else I can really hear, so might as well just go for it.
I'm gonna keep on going.
Since you've been married, have you ever had sexual relations with someone other than your husband?
Yes.
True.
Do you think you're a good person?
Honestly, I think I am a good person.
False.
Well, I don't know about you, but the reality is it's possible to get the money as part of your net worth. It's possible to get the glory that comes with it, the fame. But how many people am I hurting in the process? Because you realize her remarks, yes, she felt sad about them, but they really hurt some people who were very close to her. And so sometimes if we do not live our lives on a very firm foundation of character, we end up hurting a lot of people. And I tell you the final stories of these two fathers, and then hopefully have the remaining time, Grace, if we have a couple of questions, we can take them, and then I can finish with a final video. But this is the story of two fathers, and I've come to celebrate them in a way, but then still looking back and saying, oh my goodness, I pray that we will tell a different story when our time comes. One is in his 60s and the other one is in his 50s. The one in his 50s was a gentleman we used to celebrate. I remember we would sing his songs. I mean, this guy is talented, absolutely talented. And his songs, I mean, he used to be regarded as the king of R&B, the king of, all those big names in the music industry. He was the Pied Piper of R&B. And I'm sure when I play this video, you will get to know who he is. But in the news, you've heard what is happening with his life, and you go like, whoa.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that you have never held anybody against their will.
I don't need to. Why would I?
Well,
How stupid would it
never
be
held
for R.
anybody-
Kelly, with all I've been through in my way past, to hold somebody, let alone 4, 5, 6, 50, you said. Why, how stupid would I be to do that?
I didn't say you
That's
were holding...
stupid, guys.
I didn't...
Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense. Don't forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me. Hate me if you want to, love me if you want, but just use your common sense. How stupid would it be for me to, with my crazy past and what I've been through, oh, right now I just think I need to be a monster and hold girls against their will, chain them up in my basement, and don't let them eat and don't let them out unless they need some shoes down the street from their uncle.
Robert,
Stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career.
What do you want to say to R. Kelly if he's watching?
R. Kelly, you have 3 children, 2 of them being girls. Do you even love your children enough to think that it's okay to treat me and all the other victims that you've treated?
I don't have anything to say to him. I don't even know if I want an apology. I wouldn't even feel it was real. I just think he's numb to people's feelings.
I'd just like you to know that you really hurt me. I was a little girl in like a bad man's world. I never really recovered from it. I'm really angry with you for what you're doing.
You need to see the effects of your behavior. You need to see how you have ruined lives, how you have damaged relationships, how you have torn up other people's families.
I want him to be held accountable. The bottom line. Like, I feel like he needs to be held accountable for his actions. I would hope that he would want to be a better person and quit hurting.
What I would like to say to Robert is, I'm not afraid of you anymore. You know what you did. You know the turmoil you brought into my kid's life. And not just my kids, my family. Because what affected me affected my children. What affected my children affected their grandparents and their aunts and their uncles and their cousins. You destroyed Christmases, birthdays, graduations, and my kids' ability to just go to lunch and sit with their friends and laugh and play. And for that...
Well, so you have a story of such a talented person, and we all, we have so many, you know, skeletons in our cupboards. And somebody once said, the bush in which you hide has eyes. You can really keep it hidden for so long. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. Now, I present to you the other father. On his 60th birthday, he had a surprise gift from his children, and they didn't buy him, you know, a big car or a big house or something like that. They simply shared their experiences with him, and just get to listen to that.
All of my kids are here. My beautiful wife, they came here. This really was a surprise. I didn't know any of them were in town. I really did. For my birthday, nobody told me what's been going on, so I'm going to have to let them take over. So
my special moment is Christmas when I was 5 years old. You got us, Brandy and I, Miss Rocker bikes. And this was the best Christmas ever because it was snowing outside. So you assembled the bikes in the house and we rode them around the dining room table because we could not go outside. And this was just a testament of your love, your devotion, and being an awesome father to us.
My favorite memory with you was
Obviously my wedding last year, you walking me down the aisle, and then the special moment that we shared during our father-daughter dance. And for me, I had always kind of looked at that moment, you know, when I thought about it as a young girl and as a child, it was never really going to be a special moment for me. It wasn't something that I looked forward to. But with you coming into my life and us having that relationship, it made it extremely special. So that's just always a moment that I'll really treasure.
You gave me your last name, and that's the unthinkable for a man to really. My father, you know, he did what he could, but he wasn't there, and you stepped in and you gave me that. So, I mean,
all right.
If only you knew the true amount of love that I have for you. I need for you to know that now.
I ain't working for me. I'm working for them. I got 4 full-time jobs for them. It's so that when just, you know, when I'm done, I want you all to just have remembered that somebody cared more about you than himself. And that I want you to care more about someone else than yourself. I will defend your honor until I die. I love all of you. This is what it is for me. This is the greatest moment I've ever had. I'm very proud to be your father.
So I think the moment you realize that your talent is not just about you, but it's about many others that are here and are yet to come, then you'll realize it's not enough. It's not enough, that you have to put in the work. And that can be the reason that, you know what, it's about others as well. So I want to stop there, and Grace, I give it back to you if there are any questions, and then I can finish with the final video. And it was an honor talking to you this evening. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. I can see Lillian is saying tears. And just to ask, there's something that you kept talking about. Your mentor said, is it when you're building your talent, or when you're building your career, what role does a mentor play, and how do we choose the right mentors?
A mentor is critical. A mentor is a shortcut to your destination in terms of success. So that's the key role. They help you jump over traps and enjoy the benefits of the moment. Now, how do you choose a mentor? First of all, they are people who are consistently around us, who are willing to protect us. For instance, I remember when I was still in school, in fact, I attribute my journey of faith to one of my key mentors, Pastor Reverend Tom Otieno. I remember when I was in high school, he heard me recite this poem, and he took me aside and he walked with me up to this moment. He's one person I celebrate as my father in the faith. Of course, my teachers. So in whatever season you are in, if you are truly aware of the present moment, there are people, number one, who will actually come your way to guide you. Of course, these are not counterfeits. These are people who really are there, like Reverend Tom Otieno, who came and said, hey, Johnson, we can do this, we can walk together. So that is my consistent mentor. Now, there are others you admire. You look at them, you celebrate their excellence, and you go like, wow, I really love this person. I love the way they speak. I love the way they do their things. You write down their names. The way I told you, I mentioned earlier on, I have a list of so many people I value. In fact, at one time, I had pictures of some of my key mentors. It's in one of my rooms, my inspirational room, where I can go and just look at their pictures and say, you know what, I pray for you. You've been such a blessing to my life. So those are there. And then now, as I bump onto maybe somebody giving a talk via YouTube, and I love the way they speak, what they're talking about, I jot down their names so that the next time when I'm listening to anybody, or I'm driving and I want to listen to somebody, I actually prepare that in advance so that it's constantly, I'm in a school with our traffic laden roads. So starts with number one, the people who come in to guide you. Number two, the people you admire, people you find something you can learn from.
All right. That clearly puts it, because I've seen also somebody else asking that. There's a question that was asked immediately we logged in by Liz. Mwakazi, what did you do differently to consistently maintain the talent and visibility and recognition in the media industry, which is highly competitive?
Wow, you're very right. It's very competitive. Sometimes I look at myself and I say, it has taken you, God, for me to still be here and around, and people, because I left mainstream media in terms of a news anchor in 2013, but I still find people who say, hey, Johnson, we know you. I have my mask on, but people can still recognize me. Number one, I think my total belief that I am in a season that the Creator has ordained, and He is my sole strength and my direction. He says, I am your everlasting light. So now you're not relying on the sun to be your light to guide you during the day, or the moon to guide you during the night. And these are maybe people of influence, but you allow God to be your light. Then He's able to open doors, and He's able to connect you to people that you never even thought you would connect to. By the way, Grace, how did we meet, by the way? The way you called me and you said, hey, there's something happening in Nanyuki, and wow. So, just connecting with somebody like Grace and the many people that I've connected with, I believe it starts from that particular space where well, I'm here because it has been ordained for me to be here. But then there has to be work, because people are also attracted to excellence. That is something that I started. For those who have watched the video, I started waking up at 5 a.m. just to work on my voice. You go out there in the field, people are running around and they're exercising their bodies. Mine was to exercise my voice, and I still do that. I have to consistently do that, because that is not necessarily because it's my tool to create a livelihood, but at the same time, there is this deep responsibility. God, I gave you, some people have gone to study some kind of art, but this is a voice. I didn't apply to get it. It's just a gift that God gave me. So there's that responsibility. So Johnson, you have it. You didn't apply for it, but now you have a responsibility to work on it, to take care of it, and to use it for the glory of the one who gave it to you. And so even being called to be part of this wonderful session, I've seen some of the remarkable people that have spoken already. And I said, oh my goodness, this is such an honor to speak to you and the many people who will watch this video later on. So personally, mine is just that understanding and realization that I'm here for a reason and for a season as well, to accomplish the purpose of the one who gave me the opportunity.
I like the fact that you've added the purpose to the work, because a lot of people say that because I'm waiting upon God to just kind of perform miracles and not really put in the work. So I am glad that you have actually said the work must be put in. So there's an interesting question from Benson. How do you ensure you go beyond the fake networks in some workplaces to make it net worthy? And I think that's very, very interesting, and especially in the media fraternity as well.
You mean fake networks?
Yeah, like people who pretend to be good networks, people who pretend to be good friends.
You know, what do you do? I mean, some people say, well, you can't trust people. Definitely. I mean, you have to assess, you have to test before you trust. But sometimes, I mean, you work with people you can't trust. Sometimes they put on this facade. They have a veneer of we are excellent, we're doing things in the right way. And then all of a sudden you realize, my goodness, there is a lot of dirt. Sometimes I look at that as an opportunity to show those people that it's not always that way. You know, the beauty of honoring a person who dishonors you, you actually teach them and train them to tell them it's not okay to be dishonorable. And if they don't meet a person who is honorable, when will they learn? And if they're going to do the same thing to many other people, they are literally destroying so many people. And sometimes I look at it as an opportunity for me to be used to change a trajectory of somebody's mindset, that they can realize, wait a minute, I was a fake network. I really wanted to take advantage of Johnson, but I'm just amazed. I mean, he didn't react as the other people, and what is he thinking? And then they come to me and I'm like, no, I'm okay, I'm easy with it, you know. And they go like, my goodness, because in some way in each person there is, I believe there is that good side, and that's why you cannot pass a verdict on any person who is still alive. The person, unfortunately, who passed on yesterday is still where they are, in fact, in a worse position in terms of their bodies, but somebody who is living, regardless of how badly they treated you, people can change. And that is an opportunity that we can use. And I know it's hard, I know it's tough, because I've been there. You work with people, you engage with people, but things don't turn out the way you expected. But you know what? As long as you did your very best and you were there as a good example, guess what? Some years to come, they might just come back and say, you know what? It was a very tough season and you are the only person who showed me how to live life. And I normally look at that and I say, I hope in my very tough moments, painful moments, I will be used as that portal to bring hope and show guidance as a light to many people who have never had an opportunity to experience the beauty of light, beauty of doing what is right.
Excellent, excellent. Allow me to just, because it's already 9 p.m., please, our listeners, our audience today, as always, I keep doing this, or every Tuesday, I keep asking to go up to 9:15. So allow us to just take a few moments to, because there's a question that we need to answer. However, there's also, Johnson has the last video to play. Allow me to ask Mr. Frank, please share the link for tomorrow's training on the chat. Frank Wambare of Pathway Solutions, kindly share the link to tomorrow's training on the on WhatsApp. The people who are asking about the recording of this, we are going to upload it on our YouTube channel on Friday. So be on the lookout. Friday it will be on. For everyone who's asking for recorded version, it will be there. You can actually go in with your notebook. I've seen somebody who has really done a summary of everything we've learned. So I'm really, really excited. And allow me to just recognize Chalinga. Hey, I've never even seen you chat on WhatsApp. Today you are here and you're busy. I can assure you, Mr. Mokwazi, this has hit home. And I have seen Cyrus. You remember Cyrus? Cyrus is saying that you're his silent mentor. So Cyrus from the UK.
Thank you, Buenos Cyrus. Many thanks. Celebrate you.
So there's one question before you play the video. What advice do you give for one person who has been fake and untrustworthy person who wants to redeem themselves?
You know, the reality is nobody, if I was to look at even my personal life, I have made so many mistakes. I have been in certain circumstances untrustworthy. I've not been the very best that I should be. And maybe I can give you one by Burton Braley. It's a poem titled Start Where You Stand. And he says, start where you stand and never mind the past. The past won't help you in beginning new. If you have left it all behind at last, why? That's enough. You're done with it. You're through. This is another chapter in the book. This is another race that you have planned. Don't give the vanished days a backward look. Start where you stand. The world won't care about your old defeats. If you can start anew and win success, the future is your time, and time is fleet. There is much of work and strain and stress. So forget your buried woes and dead despairs. Here is a brand new trial right at hand. Start where you stand. You've made so many mistakes. If possible, you can apologize. If it's possible, you can gain the courage and say, I am sorry. Send that message and say, I'm really sorry for what I did. Please forgive me. And forgive yourself. And then pick yourself up and say, you know what, from this moment, I'm turning a new page, a new leaf, and I want to do the best that I can. And if you can, get now that network that can support you, that can walk with you as accountable parties, so that you can achieve that which you now desire, because momentum is created when you are part of a very formidable network that supports you. And slowly by slowly, step by step, if you are honest to the core about the kind of change you want to make, wow, things will work for you. If you've read the book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, there's a remarkable statement that runs through the story. The universe conspires to help you. If you're really committed to follow your personal legend, the universe conspires to help you. And so, regardless of your past, you can start today and say, I'm going to take that one step and another and another. And one day you'll reach to that destination you've always dreamt of. And by God's grace and support, you will make it.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So as you prepare to play the last video, Frank Wambari of Pathway Solutions has a training tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 1. The link is on the chat. The training tomorrow is on building resilience for those of you who have been attending. If you also want to learn a few things about building resilience, please email Frank at pathwaysolutionsservices.co.uk. Allow also me to mention that this webinar series is brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnership with Balcon Housing and Stallion Construction Company. Go ahead, Mr. Mokwazi.
Well, thank you so much, Grace. I always love the story of this gentleman. In the 1960s, they say Kenya and Singapore were literally on the same level. In fact, Kenya was better than Singapore. But this gentleman came to the forefront, Lee Kuan Yew, the prime minister, when Malaysia decided to kick out Singapore, and Singapore was in the cold. They didn't have great resources. A simple island, but you see the tremendous difference that that little island made from third world to first world. And I believe you and I and many others can decide to make a change in not only our lives, but our country, so that many years from now, when we are gone, we can say, in absentia, we did all that we could.
You see, the whole of my adult life, I had believed in Malaysian merger and the unity of these two territories. You know, as a people connected by geography, economics, and ties of kinship. Would you mind if we stop for a while?
On national television, a grown man crying for the sake of his country, but he doesn't stop there. He picks himself up again and goes back to national television and says, Singapore will survive.
I have a few million people's lives to account for. And Singapore will survive.
Dilapidated infrastructure, children being forced to work in the street.
We had to lock up people without trial, whether they are communists, whether they are language chauvinists or religious extremists. If you don't do that, the country would be in ruins today. Whoever governs Singapore must have that iron in him, or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. I've spent a whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm in charge, nobody's going to knock it down.
From third world to first world, one man who had such a deep desire to see his country grow.
But we wouldn't be here, we would not have made the economic progress if we had not intervened on very personal matters. Who your neighbor is, how you live, the noise you make, how you spit or where you spit, or what language you use. Had we not done that and done it effectively, we would not be here today.
And so I encourage all of us in our little ways to do what we can to create a better country. And it starts from how we live our lives, how we live in our families, in our simple villages or streets. I believe we can do something for generations to come.
And even from my sick bed, even if you are going to lower me into the grave and I feel that something is going wrong, I'll get up.
That was his passion. So I wish you all the best, regardless of what happens to you. I normally say, stand out and shine. It was an honor talking to you. Thank you so much, Grace, and thank you for listening. And I wish you all the best. God bless you big time. Asanteni sana. It was an honor. It was an honor. Thank you so much.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot say this enough. May you be blessed. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being inspirational. Thank you for Oh yeah, and thank you for the background. By the way, have you guys noticed the background of Atara Solutions and everything? Oh my God, thank you for coming up with this. I love it, I love it, I love it. You're so creative. And thank you, our audience. We really, really appreciate you being here tonight. As always, my name is Grace Nzula. I'm always your host. Next week, we are discussing sales. So if you're a person who is struggling in business, you're a person who is wondering what to do with your salespeople, if you're a person who just wants to figure out the art of selling, that's what we are discussing next week. So if you are HR practitioners, get all your salespeople here. If you are business people, get yourself here because we need to discuss sales. So before we go, there's one question that I think is very important, Mr. Mokazi, which is from Richard. What book can you recommend as the finest besides the Bible?
No, I was about to say the dictionary. Anyways, well, I mentioned The Alchemist. For those who love stories, wonderful. There's also another book, manuscript found in Accra. It's also an amazing book, The Prophet by Carlyle. An amazing, The Prophet. It's an amazing book as well. Yes, and The Greatest Salesman in the World by Ogmandino. An amazing book as well. So go for it. And some of these books are actually online, so you can actually listen to them, especially The Greatest Salesman in the World. Even The Alchemist, you can actually listen to them from YouTube. So all the best.
All right. Thank you very much. For those of you who are asking about our WhatsApp group, maybe we should start one. Now we actually don't have one, but we can be sharing the invitation links on your specific WhatsApp. So I'll save your numbers and we shall share the links next week. In the meantime, please follow us on Instagram at Atara Solutions, like our Facebook page at Atara Solutions, subscribe to our YouTube channel. This link and all the other recordings are uploaded there. Please subscribe. We have amazing stuff as we end season 2, which is ending on 30th of November, which, by the way, I want to take this opportunity to invite you to our cocktail. We have a meet and greet cocktail happening on the 30th of November. So please mark your diaries. 30th of November, we have a meet and greet physical meeting. So all of you are invited. We'll be sharing more details about where it will be and any other logistics that need to happen. In the meantime, Martin Ocholi, I'm coming for my class. I still have one session. Now that Mwakazi has mentioned it, he offered me a free session last year when we started, and I am yet to go. So Martin Ocholi, I'm coming for that one. And thank you so much, Mwakazi. It is an honor to have you. It's a pleasure to share in your wisdom and your knowledge and your experiences. And please take care of that dog.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So we are honored. I am honored, but specifically, and it's a privilege to always even have your direct line that we can talk like that. So it is an honor, and I'm glad that our path got to meet. And I am hoping that we have impacted someone's life. And I'm glad that you said that we do not live for ourselves. There are others. We exist for others. So I'm really honored and happy to have had that. So there being no other business, it's 9:16 and I promise to finish at 9:08. Oh wait, gosh. Sorry people. Sorry. Frank will kill me for this one. Sorry. So tomorrow, Pathway Solutions has 2 trainings. There's Building Resilience, which is happening at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then we have Entrepreneurship 101 from 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. So 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. is Building Resilience. Entrepreneurship 101 is at 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Kindly email Frank at pathwaySolutions.services.co.ke. Anyway, he's put his email on the chat. Please, if you want to be part of this, email Frank. If you're not able to get to Frank, please email me and I'll be able to link you up with Frank. So thank you so much. Thank you, Balcon Housing, for your support. We are honored to have your support in season 2. It's really a pleasure. And thank you, my people. Have yourselves a beautiful night. Yeah, somebody's asking my email. So Frank has put his email up there for the trainings tomorrow. My email is grace@atarasolutions.co.ke. Kevin or Jacinta, if any of you is online, please share that. Other than that, see you guys, have a lovely night. And our YouTube channel, we shared the link, really. I've shared the link to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, please, so that you can get to have the others. Asanteni sana for your time and have yourselves a lovely Tuesday. See you next week, same time, same place as we discuss selling. As always, I'm your host, Grace Nzula. See you then.